Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the UVL 90 Day Challenge. So, today we are on day 48. So, we are going to be talk about managing kids' milestones. But before we go into that, let's introduce ourselves. So, hi, everyone. My name is Sandy, and I'm the face of the Facebook business page, Sandy Caballero, Sandy to Empower Lives. I'm originally from Panama, but I currently reside in Surrey, British Columbia, Canada. I work in the movie industry and I'm a proud digital business owner.
Hello, my name is excuse my voice again. My name is Patsy, and I am the face of the Facebook business page of Joe Pat Blessing. I'm a mother of four and grandmother of nine. Originally, I'm from Brunei. Now I'm residing in Canada, Edmonton, Canada, and I'm a proud digital business owner.
Thank you, Patsy. So, what is the topic for today?
Topic today is UVL 90 Day Challenge, day 48 of 90 day. Topic is about talk about managing kids milestone.
Thank you, Patsy. Okay, so we're going to be talking about that. So, talking about managing kids' milestones. So, the first point about that is
Understanding milestone.
okay, so when we talk about understanding milestones, we're talking about the developmental achievement, when it comes to, for example, achievements by when we mean like physical achievements or emotional achievements or cognitive achievements or social achievements. So that will be when what we mean by understanding milestone, the developmental achievement of those. Okay, so for example, when we're talking about a little boy or baby, the first steps, or the first words, and later on, as they keep growing, we have, for example, like school readiness, the puberty, academic or extracurricular achievements. So those are uh, milestones along the way of the kids. Okay, so that's why milestone is, those little um, achievements that they have acquired either by being physical. For example, the first step is physical, emotional, like puberty, or cognitive. It could be, like, for example, uh, the first words, or social. It could be, the social readiness, or when they finish their academic or that kind of stuff. So that's what we understand by milestones. So let's go into the next point.
Setting realistic expectation.
Yeah, so when we talk about setting realistic expectations, we're talking about emphasizing, that every child develops at their own pace. So my dad always say, that my grandma used to say, even though they're your kids, not all of them are the same. They're all different. So you need to get to know each one of them. Okay. So that's why it says emphasize that every child develops at their own pace. So everyone is different. Okay. Some might go faster, some might be a little bit slower, or kind of like in the middle. So yeah, so that's one. The other thing, we want to avoid comparisons with the other kids, okay? Because that doesn't really help, okay? Um, when you do those things, it kind of lowers the self-esteem of the kid, and many times, if that's not corrected, the kid will grow as an adult, and then he will feel not confident as an adult. So you want to try to avoid that. So there's no repercussion, when they are adults. The other thing we want to set, is celebrate the individuality and uniqueness. So everyone has their own style, their own way. So you gotta celebrate each one of them. They're, like I say, they're not the same. So some might be outgoing, some might be, like artsy, those kind of stuff. So uh setting realistic expectations. So realize that, each one of them, they're not the same. They have their own uh they're developed different, uh and they have their own individuality and uniqueness. So don't compare also them with other kids. Okay, so let's go to the next point.
Staying informed.
Yes. So when we're talking about staying informed, we're talking about using resources like books, online tools, and parenting classes to learn about the developmental stages. We always say, being a parent is, there's no manual for that. You learn as you go. But you have so many tools, that you can get to help you, be able to go through all the different stages of your kids and be able to help them, and be a good parent. But I know it's not an easy task. It's something that you learn as you go, and you as a parent, you're trying to do your best to raise your kids. So um but you can utilize some of the tools, that are out there, like books, online tools, parenting classes, to be able to help you with that. Also, you can collaborate with, for example, pediatricians, teachers, and counselors for guidance. They can give you some ideas of certain things, on how you can help your kid. Um, and that way, you're able to better understand your kid, and also, find ways to be able to help him or her, you know, uh, in whatever they are like. Um, they need help in whatever area they need help. Okay. So yeah, so that's that. So staying informed. Okay, and the next point.
Creating a supportive environment.
Yes, so you want to make sure you create that supportive environment. So what do we mean by that? Well, we want to be able to provide a nurturing home environment that encourages growth. So you want to make sure that they feel love, of course, and they feel, that they are able to explore and learn, as they keep growing. So you want to also celebrate every achievement that they made. Okay, so no matter how small, or of course bigs are good, but it doesn't matter how small, because you want to be able to boost their confidence. Okay, so you want to be able to make them feel good, that what they have achieved, is amazing. So you want to be able to be there, support them, along their way. So create a supportive environment.
And balancing guidance with independence.
Yes. So when we're talking about balancing guidance with independence, we're talking about teaching kids, the essential life skills while allowing them, a space to explore. Because I mentioned this in other lives, always parents try to overprotect their kids, but we also have to let them be, um, of course, you're gonna watch from far, but you always wanna allow them, to be able to create that independence, because that independence will help. We sorry, that independence will help them in the future, when they grow as an adult. Um, because if you are trying to protect them all the time, and try to do the things for them, they're not really gonna be able to learn. And when they are in as an adult, they're gonna face um, challenges in a way that, for example, if they are with someone, and then they become dependent to that person, if that person leaves, then they're gonna be feel uh, like I don't know, like a loan, like they're not gonna feel good because they were dependent of that person. um so they will need to have someone to be there. So you want to make sure that you create independence so they don't depend of anyone. They're able to do the things on their own, be able to if they fall, be able to stand up and keep going, find solutions. So that kind of mindset, being independent. So you want to be able to help them learn from failures as part of growth. That's another one because um, if you always try to um, like if well, there's two ways here. One is like if you always teach them, failure is a bad thing. They will grow up as failures as being a bad thing. So, but really, as we have talked in the past, failure is not a bad thing. Failure is part of growth, because you learn from your mistakes, and you also try to find solutions from that. So that's what you want to teach your kid, that failures is not a bad thing. Failure is a way for you to learn that next time you're not going to do the same mistake as you did. And also you're going to try to find other ways so you can overcome that challenge or obstacles that you found. So yeah, so you want to be able to help them uh, by balancing and guidance with independence. Those two things that are very important when it comes to the development of a kid, because that's the foundation that they will have as when they are going to be adults. So you want to make sure that they have a very good foundation when they grow.
Handling milestone delays.
Okay, so when we're talking about handling milestone delays, we're talking about be proactive. So if a milestone is a little bit delayed, seek professional advice. But at the same time, you want when you look for professional advice, you want to make sure that the kid doesn't feel like um, that he is having I don't know how to explain, but you want to make sure that if you seek professional advice, find it in a way that the kid doesn't feel bad, inside. I don't know the correct, I'm talking about emotions here of the kid. So you want to make sure that he will, be able to get that help, but in a way that he's not going to feel bad inside, like I'm not capable of doing this. You want to make sure that he feels good. um, but like he's gonna be able to learn some things in a different pace, but in a nice way to overcome. Also, we want to be able to avoid labeling or pressuring the child. Okay. You want to make sure that you create that support during their journey, with patience. And that's something, like I learned here in this business, have patience. So you gotta learn to have patience with your kids. um, I know it's hard sometimes, because we tend to, but it's patience is a virtue, really. And I learned that here, patience. So make sure that you have patience for your kid, and you don't try not to pressure him, but try to support his journey. Everyone learns in a different way. Everyone doesn't learn the same way. So some learn a little bit faster, some learn a little bit slower. Just find a way that your kid is able to learn. So you gotta try to find what is the best way to approach a lesson with your kid, in a fun way, so the kid can go on, and be able to go ahead on his journey, to reach that milestone.
Milestone beyond childhood.
Yes. So when we're talking about milestones beyond childhood, we're talking about the transition from childhood to teenage years. How milestones change with age. They become different. They different milestones. Maybe, like they're playing sports, it's more competitive, or, or they go into other school activities, like groups that they have sometimes for competition. So you want to make sure, that you discuss those transitions. And this one is good, yes, because sometimes it's hard for them when they go from the elementary to the middle school. um, and sometimes, the kids they have a little bit of rough time to adjust, because it's different. They were before, they were like the big kids on their school, but when they go to the other one, the kids are older, and they're the youngest, so it's a little bit different environment. So we want to make sure that, you discuss that transition, so they won't feel um they don't feel like alienated, or uncomfortable, on school. So you want to make it, that they understand, what this is what's going to happen. It's going to be okay. It's going to be scary at the beginning, but as you go through your journey, you will see that it will be fine. So another examples of those things will be like graduation, learning to drive, first job, or navigating relationships. So those are part of the transitions to teenage years to adult, uh, when they get a little bit older, like 18 years old. So you want to discuss those things.
Parental self-care. The parents always neglect this one, so it's important.
Yes, thank you, Patsy. Yes. So when we're talking about parental self-care, we want to make sure, that you as a parent, you acknowledge, through milestones, that, it can be a little bit overwhelming. Okay. um but you gotta be able to take care of yourself. Patience, like we're talking about patience before. Like some kids will pick it up fast, some kids will take a little bit slower. So you gotta have patience. But in order to have patience, that means that, you gotta take care of yourself. You cannot go and approach your kid being a little bit stressed, because then you're not gonna have patience. You're gonna scream at your kid, and your kid, instead of feeling, nurtured, and feeling that environment of learning, he's gonna be scared, and like feeling really bad. So you don't want to express pass those emotions to your kid. So you want to make sure that you take care of yourself, and you are calm, so you can have the patience when it is required. Okay. So that's why, we need to emphasize the importance of self-care, to be able to stay present and positive to your kid.
In involving the child in the process.
Yes. So when we're talking about involving the child in the process, we're talking about encouraging children to set their own goals as they grow. So this is again, part of being, independent. Like you are giving them the choice to set up their goals for themselves. What do you want to do? So they can start thinking on their own, and not you trying to impose things on them. Okay. So that's one of the things that, encourage children to set their own goals, because you want to try to build that confidence on themselves, of what they're picking, choosing, you know. So you want to create that confidence since, from a little age, so they can grow. And when they grow, they will feel confidence, they will be independent, so they don't need to rely on somebody else. The other thing that we want to talk about is teach them the value of perseverance and hard work. So you want to make sure that, they understand, that if you want something, you don't give up just because it's hard. Okay. So you gotta keep working until you achieve it. Okay. So you gotta persevere until you achieve what you want to work. There's gonna be struggles, but you have to go, you have to learn from those struggles and keep continue. Okay. So those are things that you want to be able to teach them, because those are things that, especially, when they're little kids, and you start teaching them from a young age. That's creating that foundation when they become adults. So they're going to be able to overcome challenges in their adulthood. So they're not going to feel like, devastated and not finding, in the problematic mind focus, mindset, or the, how do we say, the one that, like, oh, I feel bad for myself, because, the stuff like that. You don't want to feel like that. So you want to make sure that you teach them from a younger age. So that way, and you keep teaching them and teaching them. So when they become adults, they are someone independent. They are able to create their own goals. They know how to persevere, and how to work hard for what they want. Um, so they're going to be able to have a strong mindset. So they're going to be able to overcome challenges, obstacles, and finding solutions, instead of staying on that problematic mindset.
Community and support systems. These are very good.
Yes. So when we're talking about community and support system, you want to be able to share the value of connecting with other parents and joining support groups, because, they are going through the same thing as you are going. So you can ask them, okay, so I'm going through this, have you encountered this, what do you do, how do you overcome that, especially, for the ones that, their kids is a little bit older. And for example, your kids a little bit younger, so they already went through that. So they can give you some advices, uh, to be able to overcome that. So that's why, it's nice also to connect with other parents, or joining any support groups. For example, here, we have a group for the parents, that are doing the business, because that will help them, with the process. They're going to encounter similar things that, other parents are encountering when doing the business. So that really helps to get that support. The other thing we want to say is about encouraging to share tips, and experiences, because that's how you build that stronger parenting network. So it's not only you getting the value of other ones, but also you also sharing your tips and experiences to others. Because there might be some things that you already went through that other parents might have not. So you can pass that experience to them, that teaching. Okay.
Last, no, reflection and adaptability.
Yes. So when we're talking about reflection and adaptability, we're talking about reflecting on what worked well, okay, in the past milestones to adapt to future ones. And like you mentioned, being a parent, there's no book for it really. You can read books, they can guide you, but they might not work to your situation, okay? Because there's no manual for to be a parent. You learn as you go. Yes, you learn, strategies and techniques, so how to approach, but every kid is different, so you have to get to know your kid. And then by knowing your kid, you'll have to find a way, how can you help him or help her, along the way. Because every kid is different, they're not the same. So but make sure, you read, and the more you read, the more you hear from other people, experiences, you also learn to be able, to help your kid, and know what to do at that moment. Okay, so you want to be able to reflect, to see, okay, what did I do wrong, how can I change for the next one, like if you have another younger kid, what can I do so I don't do the same mistake that I did with the older one. So those reflections. You also want to be able to stay flexible, as each milestone may require a different approach. And like I mentioned, because every kid is different, they're not the same, um, so you gotta really get to know your kid, and then based on that, that's how you're gonna be able to find a different approach for each one of them, because they're not all the same. So we have arrived to the end of our topic for today. So I hope so that um, these strategies that we have shared with you, it really help you along the way. Um, for some tips that we have gave also. Um, so if you guys want to contribute, to the live and by putting in the comments, for other parents to read, you can put in the comments, your strategies, or if you have questions about managing milestones, or if resources or links to articles, like books or workshops, for child development that other parents might uh, help, it might be a help for them, you can put it in the comments. Yeah, because sharing is caring. So yeah, so we want to end that with that. And let's see what is for tomorrow.
Tomorrow is day 49. Topic: talk, reflect on your week 7 insights.
Yes. So, yeah, so for tomorrow, we're going to be talking about everything that we have talked from the Sunday all the way to today. So, this week it was about, if we remember about all the topics that we have talked, it's about parenting. Parenting, in a normal life, and parenting, doing the business. So that's where we're gonna be talking, reflection, going like a little recap of everything that we have touched this week. So we're gonna be sharing that and going over, those things tomorrow. And for next week, I just had a little peek, what is for next week. So next week is going to be about self development. There's gonna be more topics, but it's almost based on that. So that's a good one to watch too. Okay, so we wanna say thank you to everyone who has watched us today. Thank you for all our followers for your support. Thank you for those watching the replay. Thank you for all your comments, your emojis. We really appreciate it. Um, we are grateful for it. So if you guys want to follow us on our Facebook business page, they're on the screen here, so you can follow us and get to know us a little bit more, and get to know, the content that we post and about the business that we are offering. So if you want to learn how you can earn online, um, you can register in any of our websites that appear on the screen with your name and email address, and we can send you that invitation to watch the free webinar, the same webinar that Patsy and I we have watched, and that has changed many lives, and it keeps changing lives, including ours. So once you register, it's just to get to know. When you register, it's just to get information, about how our business plan work, and also, hearing some testimonials from members of our community. You also will get invited to our private Facebook group where you get to see more success stories and more information about the business. And you're welcome to browse around the entire group, uh, and try to, to decide, if this is for you or not. If it is, you want to learn more about how this business, more in details, then you proceed at the next step, where you have more information uh, in detail, about the business. So that moment, after you watch all that information, if you decide then to proceed to the final step, then at that time uh, you proceed to the next step. And if not, if this business is not for you, then that's okay. Then you just do your 30-day refund. But everything is explained on the webinar. I want to make sure that if you register, on the to watch the webinar, make sure that you watch it completely. There is a replay, so if you want to watch it, at your own pace, you can watch it at your own pace and your own comfort. But make sure make sure you watch it completely, because that's the only way that you are going to be able to understand how it works. Saying that, we want to say thank you to everyone. Happy Friday, happy Saturday to some of them somewhere else in around the globe, and happy weekend to everyone. Happy and blessed weekend to everyone. So thank you for watching, everyone, and until tomorrow for day 49 of the 90-day challenge. Thank you for watching, everyone. Have a blessed and happy Friday and Saturday and weekend. Bye, everyone.